Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to factor trinomials today using patterns. So we're going to first see what patterns we get by distributing these trinomials. So I'm going to go through and distribute these three trinomials. So you'll have x times x, which gives you x squared, plus 3x. Then we're going to come back and we're going to go this other way. So plus 5x and plus 15. Now we could combine the two middle terms, and I would get x squared plus 8x plus 15. I'm going to distribute this one just a bit quicker. And then I would get x squared, because I combine the two middle terms, plus 2x minus 8. Same thing over here. We're going to distribute this over, and I would get x squared plus 2x plus 7x. Need a little bit more room. Plus 14. I would get x squared plus 9x plus 14. Now here's what I want you to look at. I want you to quickly look at these numbers. And then look at these numbers. And see if you can figure out a pattern. So just pause the video, give yourself a little bit of time, see if you can figure out the pattern, like how these numbers relate to these numbers down here. Hopefully when you looked, you go, oh, that 5 and that 3, well, they add to 8, so that's like the 5 plus 3. The 5 and 3 here, the 5 times 3 multiplied together to give me 15. Let's see if the pattern keeps going here. Well, that's a -2, and that's a 4. And -2 plus 4 would give me 2. Good. And then -2 times 4, oh, that would give me -8. Perfect. Same thing here. I would have 7, and I would have 2. Oh! 7 plus 2 would give me 9. And, whoops, forgot the 1 there in my 14. And 7 times 2 would give me 14. Perfect. So the pattern is that these numbers will always add up to be the middle number, and these numbers will always multiply to give me the back number. Let's see if we can use these patterns now to take something that started in standard form and we'll go to factored form. So let's see if we can factor some trinomials. Okay, so let's start with this. The first thing that I know is I know that we're going to have two binomials. The first terms definitely have to multiply to give me x squared, so that's x times x. And now I have to think about what would multiply together to give me 21, but add together to give me 10. So I'm going to take 21 over here and think of all the factors of 21. Well, we have 7 times 3. And if I go, oh, 7 plus 3 would give me 21, or not 21, would give me 10. So those are the right numbers. And I'm done. So again, you want to make sure that the back number gets multiplied. So 7 times 3 gives you 21. But then we'll add together to give me my middle number. Well, 7 plus 3 is 10. Let's do one that's a little bit trickier. Okay, so again for this one, I'll have x and x, because x times x will give me x squared. Now I have to think about what's going to multiply together to give me 12, but add together to give me 8. So what's going to try to multiply together to give me 12, but add together to give me 8? Well, let's think of the factors of 12. I could do 4 times 3. Well, 4 times 3, if I add those two together, I get 7. So that's a no-go. I could do 6 times 2. Well, if I add 6 and 2 together, I get 8. Oh, sweet. That is my middle term. So that is going to be my answer. Now, if you've noticed, every one we've done so far has been all positives. So let's see what happens when we put a couple negatives in here. Okay, so let's try this one. We have x squared minus 5x plus 6. I know again that the first terms need to be x and x. And then I have to think about what is going to multiply together to give me 6, but add together to give me negative 5. Well, when I look at this, I would go, okay, 6. What would multiply together to give me 6? Well, the only things I can think of is 6 and 1 and 3 and 2. Well, when I add together 6 and 1, I get 7, so that's no go. When I add together 3 and 2, I get 5, but my problem is this one is a negative 5. So I got to think about how I would use these numbers to still multiply them to be a positive 6, but add together to give me negative 5. Well, a negative times a negative would give me a positive 6 still, because a negative times a negative is a positive. But a negative 3 plus a negative 2 would give me a negative 5. Oh, sweet. Now I'd get my middle number. Get negative 3 and negative 2. So sometimes that's the game you have to play. You have to go, oh, okay. If it's negative in the middle and positive out here, that probably means I have 2 negative numbers. Because 2 negative numbers still multiply together to give me a positive number, but they would add together to give me a negative number. Let's do one last example. Again, this would start out the same. So I get x and x. Now I have to think about what would multiply together to give me negative 8, but add together to give me 2. Well, the factors of 8 are 4 and 2. That seems pretty simple. I would use 4 and 2. And then I sit here and I go, but 4 plus 2 is 6. So that's not going to work. But if I think about this, the backside's negative. So 4 times 2 wouldn't give me, it would give me a positive 8, and I need a negative 8. So I need one of these to be negative. So let's try with the 4. Negative 4 plus 2, that gives me a negative 2. So that's a no-go. If I go, what if I switch this around though? What if I say it's a positive 4 and a negative 2? Well, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Well, that works. But 4 plus negative 2 is a positive 2. And that works too, because that gives me my middle term. So a lot of times what you have to do is you have to play around with the factors until they really will multiply together to give you your back term and add to give you your middle term. So try some of these problems. If you get stuck, please send me an email. We will probably end up taking the quiz on Tuesday now. So since the quiz got pushed back because we didn't have school today, we'll just take that quiz on Tuesday with a little bit of factoring on it.